Oh hey, it's time for Wheezy Monday on a Tuesday, and last Monday was skipped. And this is the second channel, so I gotta try to be a little more casual and differentiate from the first channel. Let's casual. This video is going to come at you in two parts. First, I'm going to talk about the songs I've been writing every single day. I'm on song number 20 today. The 20th song should come out today, should I finish it. I have finished every other day, so I think I will. And then I'm going to talk to you about my experience getting the second Moderna shot, which I got yesterday. And so, songwriting. The first several days was actually quite awesome. I did devote more time to each song early on, like especially the first two or three. Spent like nearly all day because it was the first ones I was doing. I had less else going on, so I kind of went all in pretty hard, and not just with the writing but the recording of them. And the first things I noticed was how incredibly fun it was and how I missed it. Like I used to work on songs way back in the oldie times, but now I'm more productive than ever as far as songwriting goes. I've actually written 19 songs, which over the course of DPC's my band Driftless Pony Club entire lifespan, I haven't written that many songs. And whenever I sat down to write a song in the past, I would always maybe come up with a part and then like, oh, that's pretty good. Better set that aside to make it good later, because nothing immediately amazing is coming to me. And I bumped something over here. Sorry. And then I'd set it aside and I'd come back, maybe jam on it for a while. Eventually, either by some miracle, it would become a song that I was only lukewarm about. A few songs I wrote I just kind of loved, but most of them I'm still kind of like, yeah, that's pretty good. But most of the time, I just wouldn't finish it. I just convinced myself that it wasn't very good, and then I'd throw it away. So many parts of songs, so many lyrics probably buried, gone from the sands of time, underneath the sands of time, because I just decided I didn't want to finish them. And now I'm forcing myself to finish them. Nearly every single time there has been a moment where I'm like, nope, I don't love this. I want to start over, or I want to put it aside and work on it later. Most of the time it's that feeling, like in the back of my mind, well, I'm going to work on this a little bit. I kind of like this. I'm going to put it aside and work on it later. But then I'm like, no, I can't. I have to do it. So I would just continue and finish it. I do not regret a single one of them. Like, some I like better than others. Some parts I think I probably don't like. But mostly, by and large, I think they're all fine songs. Some of them I think are some of my favorites I've ever written. But I'm so glad I've done it. Because, like, the trade-off, I've talked about quantity versus quality in a previous video, is that it's not just like I'm trading in quality to get quantity. It's more I'm trading in nothing to get quantity, because I wouldn't have written anything. These are songs that just wouldn't happen. And it's not like instead of those songs I could have picked one and worked on it a really long time and made it great. I wouldn't have done that. So now there are 19 songs that exist. And as it's gone on, though, I will say, like, the initial first 5 days or so felt wonderful. I felt so productive. I felt so like this is what I should be doing. I have the skill of playing guitar. I can write lyrics. I can sing. I know how to record very basically. And it felt like, well, I'm utilizing my potential here. This feels great. Now, as it's gone on, there have been days, especially we just went to Kentucky for 5 days, and the travel days, and then being there with a lot more distractions, I definitely had to force myself to write, like sometimes late at night, you've seen, and it was a little bit more, it felt more like work. And now that I've done so many of them, I start writing a song and I wonder, like, does this sound just like the previous one I've done? I don't remember. Am I just recreating another song I already wrote for the past 19 days? The initial excitement, like I don't feel like, the first several days is like, yeah, I'm expressing myself. I'm showing people what I can do. And now it's like, we're all very aware of what I'm capable of. And now it just feels like I'm just going to do more of what I've done. It kind of feels that way when I sit down to write something. It becomes more like I still feel an urge, even though I shouldn't probably, to do something new, to top what I've done before. And the more I do, the harder that gets and the less fun that is. So the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, I've sort of resigned myself to, it's just going to be what it is. It's just going to be more of what I do. I'm not going to try to top it. And I'm not going to try to spend a whole lot of time recording it, because I assume a lot of these songs I'm going to go back to, and maybe I'd actually want to hire someone that we've worked with, Driftless Pony Club's worked with in the past, and maybe do like a more produced versions of several of these songs, maybe all of them eventually. Probably modify them in the process, maybe add parts to them, some of them, because some of them are just, I think, more ideas than full songs. And make some actual album out of it, or albums. And I say that, but I just said previously that, whenever I feel the need to perfect something, I end up putting it off and not finishing it. So there's that danger, because I have a lot of other things to work on. I hope this doesn't be put on the back burner and I don't turn these into something. Some of them might turn into Driftless Pony Club songs. Others I think would be better served as just like my own sort of thing. But I hope that happens, and I'm planning to make that happen. So now as I go on, also I ran into the problem, like I was editing little videos on top of some of them, and I realized like the ones that have only video over them, I'm going to forget how to play them because there's no video evidence of it. There's no, I didn't like write down how to play the song, and the only evidence was the video, and I delete videos after I upload them. I don't archive anything. I just don't. I haven't ever. Maybe very early on Wheezy Waiter I started to, and then I'm like, why? And I've never regretted not archiving anything until this moment where some of those videos I'm gonna have to rack my brain to recall how to play the songs, and I can probably figure it out. It might not end up being exactly the same, but none of these songs will probably end up being exactly the same anyway. But the ones that have video of me playing them, I think I can more easily recreate. So yeah, I hope I'm going to continue doing this. This has been, like, as far as from a creative standpoint, this has been one of the best things I could do. Because there's something about, you have to do, when you force yourself to finish a song or finish any creative work in a certain amount of time, you have to, it's healthy because it forces you to accept who you are in that moment. It forces you to accept what you're capable of and to not reach too far so that you quit. It forces you to realize the reality of what creating something is. It's just, here I am, I'm gonna play this, I'm gonna sing this, that's what this song is. And also, you have to have this level of absurdity. You have to accept absurdity. You have to, especially with songwriting, you have to accept, well, this part's gonna have this chord and these words, and then this next part's gonna happen. For no reason. We just have, it kind of sounds like they go together. So you have to have you have to allow your brain to be a random generator like you see on the internet. It has to have this sort of, let's just randomly put my fingers on the guitar and just sort of see what poops out. And then you just have to do that over and over again until some sort of form coalesces, and then you have more structure to work with. But in the beginning, especially, and it works with its lyrics, its song structure, chords, whatever, how you sing it. There's got to be a lot of experimentation with randomness and absurdity to, for me anyways, to find the right way to make the song. I mean, there are other ways. You could just pick a few chords and then just write a song, just write words over it. And in my lazier moments, I'll do that. But doing this and forcing yourself to do it every day kind of really opens the brain up to that, to possibility a little bit more, to the randomness of whatever's around you, and just allowing you to create something. And that you have to forego ego at times. You have to decide, like, well, this isn't the best thing I could do at this moment, but I don't have that much time, and maybe it is the best thing I can do in this moment. Maybe this is like the movie As Good as It Gets. This is like this is as good as it gets. I remember in As Good as It Gets, Jack Nicholson walks into a dog. I think it's at that moment of the movie, just a completely random moment of the movie, where he walks into a dog kennel and he delivers his dog. He's like, put him, because he has to go on a trip. It's like, put him next to that dog, not that dog, not, and then whatever. And he's very demanding. Then he sits there and he looks around and he's like, I wonder if this is as good as it gets. He just has this life moment. I don't know why that came to me, but you have to do that all the time. You have to say that. I do. I have this problem because I can be perfectionist otherwise. You have to have moments where you're like, yeah, well, that part is serviceable. That'll do. Rather than like, let's work on this for hours until this is better, which is what I always want to do. So that's why this is good for me. And in general, I am feeling a little bit of, I don't want to say this because now it's going to color all the songs after this, but for you, but I feel a little bit like it's more, it takes more energy now to make a song. The initial excitement has worn off. It's still fun. I still enjoy it. I'm still happy with the songs I'm making. It's becoming easier in a way that I don't know if it's good or bad to write these songs. Like I'm not taking as much time on them because I mostly can't. I don't have the energy or the time to, but and I know that I can do it. I have more confidence in my songwriting right now, more than I've ever had, I guess, which is great. But it feels a little more challenging right now because the initial excitement is worn off, and because there's so much backlog now that I can't really. It's like I can't really just keep trying to top it, and there's a concern of like being the same. I have to avoid that. I try to avoid that. Doesn't matter. I don't have to. I guess it doesn't matter really. But anyway, I'm gonna keep doing it, and but I do look forward to taking a break. I don't know how people like Jonathan Mann have done this every day for a decade. It's amazing. Anyway, that's that. Yesterday, I got the COVID second shot Moderna vaccine, and got it in the morning at 10 a.m. I wrote a big Twitter thread all about it. So if you want the details, I don't know how many details I'm going to go into right now because I'm making this up as I go. But if you want the details, it's on that Twitter thread. And I wrote a blog post, my third blog post on WheezyWaiter.com. The first two were done many, many months ago, and then I haven't done anything. And then I posted one. I posted it on the Reddit Beard Lover subreddit and and Facebook, which also I haven't posted on for quite a while, since the last main channel video. I've also, another completely unrelated, we've just basically finished the next Wheezy Waiter main channel video, all about complimenting people for a month. That should go up Friday. But basically I wanted to, but I got anxious about the second shot because partly because after the first shot, it was pretty minor I guess, result of the first shot, side effects. I guess I've heard that you shouldn't even call them side effects because it's really just like expected effects of building immunity. But then right after that, I had some asthma problems. It was seasonal allergies, I'm pretty sure. That just coincided with it. But I wasn't 100% sure. I went to the doctor, talked to him. He seemed to think it was basically seasonal allergies because there's like actually probably no evidence of any sort of breathing issues with the vaccine. Like it's not, I'm sure, now that I say that, I'm sure there will be people who comment anecdotally stuff that has happened. But it seems like there's no proven evidence that the COVID vaccine causes any sort of respiratory issues. So I did have that, but I think it was seasonal allergies, but that added anxiety for me. And I think it's just natural to have anxiety for something like this. It feels weird to go somewhere and deliberately make yourself not feel well, you know? So it's completely understandable to have anxiety about this. And because of that, like I start to think like, well, this is probably, lots of people probably have this anxiety, and there's probably lots of people who won't get the vaccine because of this anxiety. And I just want to tell you my story about it because I actually had a fine, it wasn't that bad after the second shot so far, and I don't think it's going to get any worse. I go all in detail about it on the Twitter thread. But leading up to it, I was feeling anxious. So things that I did, I quit alcohol for 2 days leading up to it. I reduced my coffee intake. As I was writing this Twitter thread, I realized that like all these month challenges, I think I utilized all that experience and that knowledge I gained from all of those challenges for this. Because I quit alcohol for a few days. I cut down on coffee, which does reduce anxiety when I cut it down. I drank a bunch the day before, leading up to and during. I drank a ton of water. The morning of, I did yoga to reduce stress because I was feeling anxious. Totally worked. And then I walked to, all these things were month challenges that I've done. I walked to Walgreens and because that helps reduce anxiety, walking for me, and got the shot, got some coconut water for electrolytes. On the way back, I started to get a little nauseous, which I got from the first shot. And so I went inside, made sure I ate things all day that were easy on the stomach, and sat on the couch and felt fatigued, felt a little nauseous like all day long, but it wasn't bad. It really wasn't that bad. And then I watched Skull Island, Godzilla versus Kong. And Godzilla vs. Kong is the superior movie, by the way. And I just made sure I stayed hydrated all day, drank coconut water, tea, and by like 3 o'clock, I got my vaccine at 10 a.m. By like 3 o'clock, I started to get like this pain right here. Not insignificant. So I took an ibuprofen. She had it a few days earlier, several days earlier, and she definitely encouraged me to take ibuprofen and do it early because then it's easier to reduce the headache, to avoid the headache if it's early. If it's already going strong and you take it, it probably won't be as effective. So I did that, completely went away. The headache completely went away the rest of the day. And then that night I took another one before bed because it was wearing off and I was kind of feeling it wear off. And then it was fine. Sleeping, I was up. It felt a little different, sleeping did, but it wasn't worse really because I'm not that good of a sleeper to begin with. So I was up several times, but it was no worse, maybe even a little better sleep than I normally get. And then I woke up like 6 a.m., took another ibuprofen, went back to sleep a little bit longer. And today I feel mildly, very mildly nauseous. Less than yesterday. Wasn't even bad yesterday, but less today. But still there. And a little fatigued. I took another ibuprofen at noon because I could feel slight headache still. But all in all, much milder than I kind of expected it to be. And I know this is going to be different for everybody. And I know a lot of people aren't going to have the luxury of being their own boss and dictating the schedule for the day. And but this has been my experience, and I'm so glad I did it. And yeah, I mean, if anything you can do to prepare, I think having a game plan, doing things to reduce anxiety really helps. To me, the worst thing was the anxiety around it, the lead up. If someone tells you, like, on this day you're going to get sick, of course you're going to have a little anxiety leading up to that. They're like, I don't want that. So, like, doing things like reducing coffee. If you don't drink coffee, well then drink negative coffee. That's not a thing. But yoga and making sure you stay hydrated. I don't know. I think those things are good for you. Make sure, I mean, not everyone gets nauseous, but I did. So make sure you're eating things that are easier on the stomach. But even if you don't do any of these things, maybe you'll be fine. Maybe I was completely lucky and anything I did had no effect. But I think it wasn't that bad for me. And that's it. And I would also encourage you to, if anyone commenting on this in ways designed to scare you, I encourage you to follow sources. And yeah, just make sure you know where the information's coming from. And that's it for today. I'm going to go write a song now. No idea what it's going to be. And I have no idea each day. I have no plan. The most I've planned were a few of the really rockin' songs. I was like, I want to make a rockin' song today. And so then I tried to make something that was a little more upbeat and rock and roll. Other than that, like, no plans. And today I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna do rock and roll. Still feeling a little fatigued. But how are you?